Stogner. Dysfunctional families, Pat Stogner.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I have a question for you today. Who here has a dysfunctional family? Oh, I see. Oh, a lot of you. Most people don't easily admit that. What is a dysfunctional family? Is it the Housewives of New Jersey? Is it Modern Family? Is it the Kardashians? Today I am going to tell you a true story about my family, and I will let you decide if you think it's dysfunctional. I am a descendant of my New York parents. Robert and Loretta got married very young and had 2 children. I was first, and then my brother Robert was second. Unfortunately, they divorced when we were very young, like 2 and 3 years old. My father was a handsome captain in the Army, and he continued to travel all around the world and get married many times. My mother, she got married to William Gallo. No relation to the wine, unfortunately, and no relation to the mob either. Now I'm going to ask you to fast forward about 20 years. And I am now a 20-year-old woman. And I am going to take a peek in the closet. No. I know what you're thinking. Nobody is coming out. We're just going to take a look at some of the skeletons in there. It is so funny. I am 20, right? Sophisticated young woman meeting my father, the world traveler, for the first time. You know, he is pretty good looking. You know, I think I see some family resemblance. As we're talking, he proceeds to tell me that I have 4 more brothers. And they all have the same name. Are you kidding me? For real? What were you thinking? Robert number 1, Robert number 2, Robert number 3, and Robert number 4. He carries on and tells me that I do have another brother. But this wife was from Brazil, and she wanted a strong Brazilian name. She did not want Robert number 5. So a strong Brazilian name is what she gave him. Roberto! I'm only kidding. She gave him a Brazilian name. Hugo Bot. Can you believe that? Hugo Bot, it sounds like a car. I would rather be Robert number 5 or Roberto number 1. It doesn't matter. Hugo Bot. It gets better. It gets better. Now we're going to move a little bit forward again. And my mother loses her husband, William. And she decides it's time to move to Florida. Now my father, he already lived in Florida on this side. My mother, she moves to Florida, and she's on the other side. Well, of course, now it's time for the 2 clans to meet. Lo and behold, Robert, number 3, on my father's side, meets Loretta on my mother's side. They get together, they fall in love, and they get married! Oh my God! OMG! My brother marries my sister, but they're not related! You try to explain that in a New York. Here comes the bride, all dressed in white. Of course, I'm at the bridal party. Now, Loretta's father had passed on, so she couldn't ask her father to give away. So what does she do? She asks her older brother, requests from her older brother. And of course, he says, I'd be happy to give you away, honored. I, Robert Bott, give my sister, Loretta Gallo, to my brother, Robert Bott. Could you just imagine the looks on people's faces? You should see your own. Did I mention that Robert had all of his brothers in the bridal party? It was a classic wedding. Classic. Now we're going to move along to the reception. And everyone has a wonderful time. We have the new Robert and Loretta, Mr. and Mrs. Bott. Of course we have the mother of the bride, Mrs. Bott #1. We have the mother of the groom, Mrs. Bott #2. Now Robert, #3, was raised by his Brazilian mother. She couldn't miss the wedding. So we had Mrs. Bott #3. And of course, the father of the groom, Captain Robert Bott, walks in with Mrs. Bott #4. Now, tell me, this was a wonderful wedding. Everybody had such a good time. We're just one big happy family. I have a question. Don't you think we could make a sitcom? This is true story. Nobody could make this stuff up. One more question. Who here has a dysfunctional family?